Welcome back to the Treehouse Mates, Old Head Gaming here. We're doing another beginner's guide. This time we're going to be focusing on hand traps. What that refers to is monsters, traps, and spell cards that can be played from your hand and don't actually have to be on the field. And hand traps can be very helpful in slowing down some of the latest meta decks, especially those that rely on chaining summon after summon after summon. And we're going to go in and we're going to talk about 8 examples. Now, one is a little weird. It's a combination. It's not really just one card, and I'll explain how the whole process works. But of course, if you're finding these videos helpful, please drop a like and a comment below. It really does help the video and helps the channel a lot, and I answer all my comments. And of course, smash that subscribe button. I cover Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, Pokemon trading card game, Dead by Daylight, amongst a slew of other things, and of course it really does help. Now we're going to hop over to the game and we'll take a look at the cards we need to actually do this. And this is to help you guys out. Like I said, this is all about cards that can kind of help basically do what you need it to do. And this comes from someone who's not paying anything to play the game. I'm not even running meta decks. I run strictly Dark Magician and Black Wings since it started. I'll probably build a Red Eyes Black Dragon deck to go with it, so nothing that is OP or meta. And of course, I'm still in Platinum right now. Right now I'm in Platinum 5. The highest I think I've been is Platinum 4. But you know, you kind of go up and down, and that's fine. And you can do that as a free-to-play player. You don't need to be, you know, spending a ton of money. You don't need to be doing a lot of things. Play the deck you want. And that's what these videos are all about. Play what you enjoy. So we're going to go over here real quick, and I'm going to show you the cards that we're going to talk about. And now we're going to look at the cards from, let's say, 8 to 1. So coming in, number 8 is a very classic card, been around a really long time, and it's Battle Fader. Now, Battle Fader is basically a quick play magic card or hand trap that you throw right from your hand to end the battle phase. Now, the best thing about Battle Fader versus, say, Swift Scarecrow is that instead of just tossing it to the graveyard, you actually get a monster on the field. So it's easy to use. You just end the battle phase. It doesn't matter how many monsters yet to attack. It's just donezo, and that's it, and you move on. It is a rare card, very easy to craft. If you don't have it crafted, you can always find it in the Master Pack. But of course, Master Pack's always a pain in the butt. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't. Since it literally has every card in the game, it's not the way I would recommend going. Coming in at number 7 it's kind of a twofer. So depending on what type of deck you're running, whether it's light monsters or dark monsters, is going to determine which one of these cards you go with. And the card is Honest. Honest has been around a long time as well. And you have the original Honest. Now you have the original Honest, which can be found in both the Master Pack as well as the Magnificence of Angels Secret Pack, which I don't have unlocked at the moment. I did not craft Honest. I don't run light monsters, but if you do run something like a Blue Eyes deck or anything along those lines where you're focusing, it's a great card. It's very easy to play. You play it from your hand. It basically adds the attacking monster's power directly to the monster that's being attacked. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. And that's how it works. Now, if you're running dark monsters, you have Dark Honest. Now, this would be more something I would do, where I run Black Wings, Red Eyes, Dark Magicians, all dark monsters. This one is contained also in the Master Pack, like everything else, but it's also found in Deceitful Wings of Darkness. Now, both are, of course, ultra rares and will require 30 CP for whichever one you needed from the ultra rare department, and that would be what you would do to get those. Number 6 is an oldie but goodie as well. Now, this card came out around the Synchro times, and it's called Maxi. Maxi, you've probably seen played against you a lot. It's a great card. Basically, you toss it from your hand, and every time there's a special summon, you get 1 card for that turn. If you see your opponent's going for a lot of Synchro Chains or Link Monsters, toss it and fill your hand up with cards to combat them later. It as well is an ultra rare, which would require 30 ultra rare CP to craft, or it can be found in the Master Pack. So that would be where you would find Max C. Coming in at number 5 is Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler has been around a long time. A lot of these cards aren't new, and then they are definitely come in handy. They've been used for a long time, and it's also an ultra rare. So to craft it would be 30 ultra rare CP, or it can be obtained in the master pack as well. Now, Effect Veiler basically allows you to toss this card directly to your graveyard and negate the effect of one monster for that turn. So if you have a monster that is impervious to attack because of, say, their effect, and you have a monster that could defeat it if it were broken, you use Effect Veiler to negate the monster's special ability that's allowing it to survive battle, for example, and that's how Effect Veiler works. Now, at the end of that turn, if you did not destroy the monster that you affected, Effect Veiler's effect wears off. That's a lot of effects. Coming in at number 4 is our good friend Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Now, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit are very trap-like, and what you do is when a monster is summoned, now they are a tuner as well, so if you don't use them, you can always use them as a tuner monster. And they're an earth base, so in case that makes any difference for what kind of deck you're running, or if it requires, say, earth tuners. Now, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, when a monster is summoned, you can throw this card directly from your hand to the graveyard and destroy the summon. The reason Ghost Ogre stays a little bit further down the list, even though it's a great card, is because of the fact that the effect still stays in place. So if your opponent summons a monster, you're gonna negate that summon, but if there's an effect that's associated with it, it goes to it. Like usual, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is an ultra rare or requires 30 ultra rare CP, or it can be attained by the master pack, which is always annoying, as we've said before, so you might want to have to craft her and just get her knocked out. Number 3, Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Really fun card if you're going against the nemesis of a lot of people, which is Link monsters, especially with the fact there's a lot of evil twins or live twins or tri-brigades out there right now that are really causing a lot of problems in the upper echelon leagues like Platinum, maybe even Gold. You run into them, but in Platinum, it's a lot of us, not myself, but a lot of us are running very strong meta Link decks, and this is a card that can kind of help out. When your opponent summons a Link monster, you can then special summon Phantasme. Now, depending on how many Links your opponent monster has, you basically pull that many cards from your deck. Now, if you had a 4-Link monster, you pull 4 cards. You also then will take the 4 cards you like the best, keep them, and then shuffle everything back into the deck, kind of like a magical hammer effect, if you're familiar with that spell card. Now, when your opponent activates an effect that targets a monster, you can quick effect discard 1 card from your hand. Obviously, you just pull the pile of them because of the ability, and negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the monster. This makes Phantasme a very, very good card to battle Link decks. So Fantastical Dragon is definitely number 3 on our list, and a powerhouse when you're going against monsters in the upper echelon. Number 2, I told you in the beginning there was going to be a little bit of a weird combo here, and that is going to be our good friend Psy-Frame Gear Gamma. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with how this combo works, it's actually 2 cards. So you cannot normal or special Psy-Frame Gear Gamma. What happens is when opponent summons a monster, even if they have an effect, you summon it alongside of it, so they both get summoned. Then, from your deck, you'll summon Psy-Frame Driver. Will be a free summon out of your deck. Once that happens, you have both of those special summon, those monsters stay. You destroy the monster that was being summoned by your opponent. And it's a really great way to block this, any kind of chain starting against you. Also, a lot of people will then carry Psy-Frame Lord Omega, which then causes even more havoc. It's the normal go-to synchro summon of those 2 monsters. They're then banished, and then you can use Omega to kind of control what is and isn't on the field. It's kind of a 3-card combo, but it's number 2. I have to explain it in steps. And then finally, number 1, You know her, you love her, Ash Bottom, the Joyous Springs. Now, if you saw my original guide, my 5 steps for when you're starting out, one of the things that was recommended is buying Ash Blossom's bundle. You get Ash Blossom and 10 master packs for 750 gems, and she is a lethal pain in the ass. As a hand trap, if opponent activates an effect, you can throw her to the graveyard and stop it. You can special summon from the deck. You can use her as a tuner monster. You can send a card from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use one effect per turn, but she can definitely cause some problems as a zombie and is the #1 hand trap monster on my list. And any of these 7 cards in one combo can cause a lot of trouble for your opponent. And if you're looking for some ways to slow them down, maybe just change the tide, they're definitely a good way to go. And there you have it. Those are the types of monsters that you want to include in your deck. You weave them in there. Some monsters will have a little better flow for you than others will. Like, for example, Ash Blossom kind of can fit in any deck. And if you have tuners, then it's kind of a gimme anyway. While on the other hand, like the Psy-Frames, you might want to do it, but you realize you're going to give up 2 spots in your deck if you're trying to keep down to 40 cards. On the other hand, Phantasmer just can kind of take out whoever he wants if you're going against Link monsters. Now, he's not as good if you're unfortunately not going against a Link deck. So there's pros and cons with all of them, but they do find a way to make your deck better and give you a better chance to win at the higher levels. Like when you're getting out of silver, it's fun. It doesn't matter. You don't get demoted. Things get real once you hit gold, and then of course platinum is the highest tier they have right now, and that's where you're really going to do your fighting, and your deck's going to matter, and it's going to matter what kind of weapon you have tucked in the arsenal for that one moment. I can't tell you how many times I played a platinum match where, of course, my opponent has Ash Blossom on the first hand, breaks my combo, sets me up at a deficit right out of the gates. So if you want to be in that shoe rather than in mine, of course I run Ash Blossom myself, that's where you want to go. And these are the things you want to do to adjust your deck ever so slightly to make, maybe choosing one monster that could help you down the road versus adding an additional type of monster that you normally would carry as part of your normal repertoire. And that's why hand trap monsters can be so helpful in just kind of throwing that breakdown of the combo. And that's sometimes what really matters. If you can get your opponent mid-summon or trying to activate a trap or magic card that's really going to turn the tide, and you can shut that down, it can really put the match in your favor. I can't tell you how many times over 20 years I've played a Yu-Gi match where one card suddenly just changes the entire tide and breaks someone's entire system down long enough for you to take advantage, whether it's against me or for me. And that's what these cards are here for, to basically give you the best opportunity to break down your opponent and then go in for the kill. As always, thank you for watching the video. Happy dueling, and later, mate!